Do you find music playing in the background at work a distraction, or does it help you concentrate? It might not bother you if you're in an office, but if you're a surgeon in an operating theatre, it could make a difference.
Yeah, a study by Imperial College London found music makes communication with colleagues more difficult. Other recent research, though, says it's beneficial. Who's right? We'll discuss that in a moment. First, here's a flavour of what operating staff are listening to during surgery.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the bandango? I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. Smooth operator. Smooth operator. Smooth operator.
So, can a surgeon be a smooth operator with music in an operating theatre? With us is Sharon Weldon from Imperial College London, and Peter Kay, who is a consultant surgeon. You like a bit of Dire Straits when you're operating, is that right?
I do like some Dire Straits, yes.
Why then particularly?
Well, it's just my period, my time period. Dire Straits, Pink Floyd, people like that.
And how loud do you have it in the operating theatre? What sort of operations, first of all?
I do hip and knee replacements,
Right.
mostly. And revision, we do surgery, so some of the operations are quite long.
Yeah.
And we decided really as a team what we're going to listen to. Many of our patients aren't having general anaesthetics, so they're having epidural anaesthetics. And we give patients the option about how aware they want to be. Many would like to listen to music, so we'll talk to them about that. So we don't have the music at the really difficult and bits of the operation. We wouldn't have very loud music then. At the beginning, at the end of the operation, when we're exchanging information, we wouldn't have the music on.
So, Sharon, how you've been looking into this. How distracting can the music be?
Well, I think firstly Peter made a really good point in that it's the middle of the operation, they wouldn't have it where it's more difficult, but actually for the anaesthetist it's the beginning of the operation when they're anaesthetising the patients, and then for the nurses it's at the end when they're doing the counts for the instruments. So there's different times during the operation where it's more important for different team members. And although there is evidence to say that music can be beneficial for the individual, we were looking at it as a team and how they communicate. And that's where we found actually there was increased tensions due to constant repeated requests and also increase in operative time.
Okay, so it's not a huge study, is this? But you found that people literally weren't hearing instructions. Is that what was going on?
Well, yeah, not all the time, but we looked at it in detail that people couldn't usually look at it. So we had vid camcorders there, and we were able to play them back again and again, and we could see where repeated requests were being made. And then we counted that for music and non-music playing cases, and it was significantly higher with music.
Okay. Peter, I'm not sure if I was having my appendix removed that I would want to feel that the surgeon was listening to It's a Long Way to the Top and You Want to Rock and Roll while he was taking my bits out, so to speak.
Well, I mean, there's lots of studies over the years, but it goes back to the early parts of the last century, if you want, where music has been beneficial in terms of making people feel more at ease. Recent studies last month in the States showing it can make surgery more efficient, more effective when you're listening to something. But it tends to be background music. I mean, it's not the main thing that's going on in theatre. I think it helps the surgical team to work together. Other people in the team may request different music. So it does help understand one another as well. But largely, it just makes it a calm environment. And I think if the patient's been involved, if the patient's having a type of anaesthesia when they're aware, because it's a very foreign environment to them, if they can have some input into that environment and know what's coming up or even suggested the music, I think it makes them feel much more at home, really.
Sharon, is it a bit like who's got control of the television remote controls? Who has control over the music? Because people do have different points of view, don't they?
Yeah. Well, in our study, it was majority of senior surgeons and anaesthetists who made the decision. The junior surgeons, anaesthetists and the nurses didn't get the choice. And that's what we found in the rest of the literature we've looked at. Although I do understand that is an individual basis, it depends on the team where it is.
Yeah. Part of the study looked at music type listened to. 25% of the time hip-hop. Right. Or was that just
No.
part of your, that was just during your experiment?
Well, this wasn't our study. We didn't actually look at the type of music. There was a real eclectic mix of music, everything from classical to dance to drum and bass to rock, a real mix.
Did it make a difference what type of music they were listening
Well,
to?
we didn't actually look at that, so we can't say, but that would be
But-
interesting to find out.
Is that what you're going to do next then?
Potentially, we've got no plans at the moment.
Have you ever found during an operation you've had, say, scalpel?
Well, there's lots of extraneous noise in the theatre anyway. But I think one of the really important points about this, if you're working with a team that you work with all the time, you don't actually need an awful lot of verbal communication, and the music can be nicely in the background. I think one of the problems that can happen in the NHS, we can often see more transient staff and transient teams of people, and it's really important to get good communication then. So I think with the study, I think it's really important if you're working with people that you don't normally work with, or there could be some language issues, you need to be very careful under those circumstances.
Somebody else also saying that they were having a C-section, and apparently, this is what this person said, woman, they were listening to the Middlesbrough football match. Which, music is one thing, but listening to a football match could be quite something else, couldn't it?
Well, I suppose you could jump up at the wrong point with a scalpel in your hand, but realistically, I mean, we have had the radio in the past.
Yeah.
I had a patient who was a real cricket fanatic,
Yeah.
and we've had that in the background.
Yeah. Interesting suggestions for music that you might play. From Ben Massey, who said removing my appendix would have to be I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross. Teresa Buckley, the first cut is the deepest, of course. Martin Williams suggesting anything by the Cutting Crew.
Very
Would
good.
do.
And Les, I'd like this one, the final countdown.
Thanks very much.
Thank you both,
Thank
you.
and I'm sure you'll look at it in further detail. And Nugget is in for Victoria Derbyshire this morning at 9:15.